4. What's up, T-Rock?
Good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
It's early.
I know it. Welcome U.S. Open week. We are missing a caddy. Joey Sears got called to duty today. He's at his favorite place, French Lick Resort, Pete Dye Golf Course.
Yeah, Pete Dye. All you got to say is Pete Dye.
He sent me a picture yesterday, and there was some iron head covers. Do you ever have any iron head covers?
Man, I would lose iron head covers before I got to the first green.
I always like the people that have iron head covers, and you know the very first thing they do? They take them off and put them in the basket.
What is the point? I still don't understand the point of iron head covers. I've never, honestly, I don't even do well with wood head covers. Like I keep it on my driver,
Right.
but it's just an inconvenience. So
yeah, exactly. Well, welcome to Loopers for Life, Game 10. Very excited for the United States National Open Golf Championship.
Yes, sir.
Played at Torrey Pines Golf Course, famed Torrey Pines
Yep.
in San Diego.
Yep.
And I'm excited. I mean, this is the best thing about it is, you know who's not in the field? This guy right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we are going to have a little goat
right.
talk today.
Hey, I love that's a good
Well,
T-shirt.
yeah. I got this at the Fern Creek Optimist reunion party. So it was weird. They gave it to me, and I was like, word, let's go.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, it is awesome. I mean, and this is the great thing is 2008 when Torrey Pines first hosted the U.S. Open, and it was really a major play by the USGA trying to bring the national championship back to the layman's courses, back to the municipals.
Yep.
And, obviously Torrey Pines has a great repetition on a yearly tour stop on the PGA Tour. But what a great week that was. I mean, and then you look back on it, and you look back at the history that's happened and what happened that week.
Oh, yeah.
With Tiger playing on a broken leg, making a birdie on the last hole that was just, forced to play off the next day. And then everything that happened afterwards leading up until his 2019 Masters Championship.
Sure.
I mean, that was his last major. That was the one that we all remember, that we all talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're definitely going to,
I tell you what's interesting, Josh. So that year, I forget what it was. He played really well in the British Open. And he was there on Sunday, and then until he kind of faltered a little bit. This was before he won the Masters. And I remember having a conversation with somebody like, man, he's going to win another one. Like, there's no way. There's no way. But he was in contention on that Sunday at the British Open, and then ended up winning the Masters. I think it was after. Maybe it was the year
before that you're talking
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was in contention. Like he was around, and I felt like, man, he might come back. And I'll be honest with you, when he won the Masters, I had tears in my eye.
Oh, in 2019? Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that was one of the greatest days in golf. Only followed up by Phil Mickelson at the PGA Championship a couple weeks back.
Pretty incredible, man.
Yeah, and for all of our viewers and listeners, we're definitely moving in the right direction with Loopers for Life. We're excited about, you see our podcast studio. You're going to see us kind of coming on to some major podcast airwaves as we move forward. And we took a week off last week, and there was a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, man.
A lot of stuff going on. And we're going to try to cover that very quickly, too, at the beginning of this podcast. But, the main thing is, like, the game of golf is in a great state. And, I mean, and despite Tiger not playing, it would be obviously fantastic to have him in the field. But the resurrection of Phil Mickelson, looking at Jordan Spieth getting his game back together. Of course, we got Justin Thomas, Louisville's favorite, golfer on tour. And then everything else and all the other players, really, really good state of golf. I mean, the South Africans.
Oh, yeah, they're
last
balling.
week. I mean,
balling.
Balling. I mean, Charles Schwartzel's been balling. Louis Oosthuizen's been balling. You get this Hogio for, he's like chasing hippos.
Hey, I had him last week too.
That's awesome.
And we took off. My dad said, "Hey, he's going to win." And
Ridge Rock Entertainment.
I tell you, we had him.
That's Cousin T. He's going to come in
That's
on our
right.
fantasy picks. We'll be back on that.
Yeah, and we got a couple today too.
But I'm really excited to I love a good West Coast U.S. Open.
Hey, so you mentioned state of golf. So this past week, too, I had the pleasure of running the Catholic Schools Athletic Association golf tournament. We had 200 kids play.
That is incredible.
I mean, the state of golf from all levels is in a really good place. A lot of excitement. A lot of, obviously, the Golf Academy is a big part of junior golf in this area, and you guys are doing some incredible stuff. But 200 kids showing up to play in that tournament, it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. And I mean, and that's just that's been one of the great tournaments in the city for a long time. I mean, the CSAA has been something that, the Catholic School Athletic Association has always put on from the history of time,
Right.
as far as I go back. I mean,
Yeah.
You look in the gyms when we do the touring.
Hey, I got a
and
couple
playing
titles
in the
when I was
old man,
playing it.
yeah, in the old man league. You see the little golf banners
Yeah.
up there.
Hey,
and
me and Danny Barron, we
the
hung a couple
Ascension
banners.
Longhorns
That's
right
Danny
there.
Barron and I hung a couple
the
banners.
220 was representing back
Uh-huh.
then. I mean, so yeah, I mean, and you and your team and everybody with the CSAA did a
you.
fantastic job. Thing about it, as a golf professional and a golf coach like myself, and what we do at the Golf Academy, it's really great to see these kids learn how to play competitive golf.
Sure.
A lot of them, that was their first tournament.
Sure.
I'm very fortunate to coach a couple of the parishes here in the city,
Yep.
and seeing these kids make that first step, because there's golf with mom and dad, and then there's tournament golf.
Right.
And I mean, you play golf with your buddies, you play golf with your mom and dad and your
Right.
family, but then you go give your scorecard to another kid who you never met, and that's a tournament golf. And man, it sure does turn into a different game. And it's very similar to, hey, there's golf on the PGA Tour, the weekly stops, and then there's major championships,
Sure.
PGA and the British Open, and then there's the national championship.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open,
The
which
US
is always
Open.
known
Yep.
for the sternest test in golf.
Yep.
One of the hardest majors to win. Sometimes it's survival by the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's going to be that way this week with Torrey Pines and their notorious Kakua rough.
Sure.
It's just a great experience for everybody to see the value of a par. And so going to the CSAA, that's one of the things I always ask all the kids. How many pars did you make?
Right.
Can you make me 1?
Yeah.
Can you make me 3?
Right.
Can you make me 5? Because
Yeah.
if you learn how to do that, you're going to make me 9.
Or if you're Luke Kelty, you shoot 33.
And that was the word, or Hunter Majors shooting
Right.
29.
Oh, no, wait. He shot 31.
Yeah, he shot 30. Luke Kelty shot
30,
31.
31, Josh.
Right.
30.
Right. And then we had, on the Seneca short course,
Yeah.
I mean, Hunter Majors
Yeah,
shot
29.
29. I mean,
Course record.
He blistered that thing. And,
Yeah.
we had a lot of kids, and that's the cool thing, is that you have the kids with the golf course and the way it was set up over, and it was hosted by Kevin Greenwell over
Yep.
at Seneca Golf Course. He
does a great job. Yeah.
Fantastic job right there. Your team did a fantastic job setting up the golf course, allowing these kids to score birdies.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's really what you have to do. And so to have 200 players, you got to put that golf course to where it can move.
Well, there's a lot of
And-
kids that have never played tournament golf, like you
Right.
mentioned, and there's a bunch that when they have, dad's calling every shot, pulling every club. So this
Right.
particular tournament, you're not allowed to have any advice or help. So these kids are out there on their own trying to figure out,
For the
okay,
first time.
what am I hitting from 100 yards? What am I
Right.
hitting from 50 yards? And it was interesting, but it was a great experience for everybody, and I was, again, humbled to be a part.
Well, and you talk about the game of golf in the state of Kentucky and the CSAA. I mean, we are now getting into our championship months
Yeah.
of golf, and the state am is being competed at Audubon Country Club. J.M. Butler's leading it by 3 shots, and he's Auburn. He's going to be a sophomore at Auburn University, and there's a lot of people that are under par there over there, and it kind of goes to like just how golf is being played right now. When you play these old classic courses, Audubon Country Club, they're kind of landlocked. Sometimes, hey, you're going to be able to get to all the par 5s pretty much in 2. You're hitting irons now, with the golf ball and the technology like that. And it's the same case when the U.S. Open's at Marion.
Yep.
Same case when it's somewhere that, they're going to be doing it in 3 years at Los Angeles Country Club, which had to go into a major renovation
to be able to
just
host.
to be able to host that. And it was designed by, redesigned by Gil Hanse. So, kind of really exciting times here in Kentucky for sure for golf, because, I mean, you have all the championships here.
28 guys in the state am under par.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. 28 guys?
28 guys under par. I just counted.
That is a lot. I mean, but it also, that's what championship golf is. If you're playing good, you're going to be able to go under par, especially with a good course setup. And you know, as much as the rough is thick over at Audubon because we had a week of incredible rain here in Louisville, Kentucky, it was pretty impressive in a few days. Did my first ever junior golf camp without a range, so that was kind of exciting for me last week.
Okay.
But you know, you're hitting wedges, and so when you can hit a wedge, you can hack it out of that rough, and that's going to be kind of this thing this week.
How about? And I saw. I'm gonna give Joey a shout out because Joey can't be with us this morning, but I saw him post something on Twitter. This guy JC. Vanagas?
Yeah, Venegas.
Yes. All right. Fires 94 first day of the state am. Comes back day 2. I don't know how many people fire 94 and even don't no card or withdraw.
There's a lot of people.
Shoots 73 the next day.
JC is the man.
That's awesome.
He is the man. I mean, you know, because what you just said, probably majority of people would have no carded that.
Oh, yeah, they're in their bag.
Yeah, they're in their bag. They're trunk slamming. They're going to go home, and you know they're going to not tell anybody that they played. Right. This guy came back and shot 1 over par.
Yeah,
grinded it out. And
after just, I mean, there's no telling last time. But, it is
that is a game of golf. I mean, you know, it's like how many times do you turn like Kelty did in 31, and then you come in at 42, and you shoot to 73.
Sure.
But you know, JC, that to me, that is the greatest part of the game of golf. What he did right there,
pretty awesome, man.
He owned his scorecard. Yeah. He came back the next day and was like, "Hey, I'm going to do X, Y, Z better. Who knows what that is?"
Sure.
But he did XYZ significantly better.
Yeah, so shout out to JC because that's pretty impressive.
Big shout out to JC. A big shout out to Joey for posting that. Joey does a great job in covering local golf, not only in the Louisville area, kind of metro area, but he tries to branch out into Kentucky. But you can only go so far in the hollers, you know, so you're only getting down there. But yeah, man, what a turnaround, and I love that about the game.
Sure,
I just love that about the game, and it just shows the kind of character that you are by owning that score and then coming back and trying to be better.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Even if he would have shot 92 the next day.
Yeah, the fact that he came back, I mean, it shows that the dude's got some life skills.
Well, there is no doubt that he has life skills. And speaking of life skills, I mean, let's talk about all these guys that are living a life out there. They're going to be in San Diego.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And playing one of the great golf courses in America.
Now, look, so something we didn't get to talk about last week, which was obviously one of the biggest stories in golf this year. So is Jon Rahm the favorite? I mean, so it's interesting, right? Because with him getting kicked off the course with COVID.
Right, at the Memorial.
How do you feel like he handled that?
I thought he handled it like a champion.
Okay.
Now, what I probably just cannot understand is how he was not vaccinated way before him.
Right?
Way before that. And
how are they not all vaccinated?
Well, no, you get the same thing in the NBA. I mean, Chris Paul, are you kidding me, bro?
Right. That's
are you kidding me, Chris Paul?
Right.
You're playing, I mean,
we're talking practice.
Yeah, and you're going across the nation. I mean, you know, and a guy like Jon Rahm, he's traveling across the seas.
I know.
And, you know, and he said it was some story about, well, you know, it was in this 14-day window when I got. No, it was not, bro. You did not go get the thing. I don't care what you say. You may have gotten vaccinated now, John.
Yeah.
And, you know, God bless you, bro. But what you messed up.
So a bit of that, some of that's on him.
No, it's definitely on him. And so he handled it purely with class. I mean, you know, and I thought that the way that he handled himself, the way that the PGA did it, you know, they did the right thing. That's why they have these things. We are in a pandemic. There is protocol. You didn't, you know, they're going to yank you out and put you on the sideline. Chris Paul seeing it in the NBA. Jon Rahm saw it right there. It was definitely a heartbreaking thing. 6 shots on top of the field. Made the tournament interesting on that Sunday for sure. That ended up, you know, who could tell you? Do you know who won that tournament?
Morikawa was there, but he lost.
Right.
Who did he lose to? Gosh, I don't remember.
Yeah, who cares?
Right.
I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, the moment that, and if Jon Rahm was winning, I mean, as big as the Muirfield is, you know, or Jack Nicklaus's tournament is, because it is very significant, right? It is a big time tournament. You know, you got the Golden Bear, the greatest player to ever play the game,
right?
Factually proven. We're going to discuss the GOAT. But, you know, you got him standing on the back of the sideline shaking hands. Great tournament.
Sure.
But, again, who cares?
Yeah.
This not a major. nobody's going to remember it 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, you're right.
And so even, I will just tell you what I did on that Sunday is that the United States Women's Open was being played at Olympic Golf Club. And Lexi Thompson was leading this thing.
Meltdown City.
Oh, my gosh. And to be able to watch that final 9 on the back 9, and I watched every stroke of it. It wasn't like she was melting down, but she melted down.
Which she did.
She did. She gave it away. She gave it away. She didn't hit bad shots off the tee, didn't put herself into perfect positions.
Right.
But she gave it away around the green. Her chipping was awful on that back final 9. And, I mean, it was really bad. And it was terrible to watch, Teague, but it was also classic Olympic Golf Club.
I get it.
Where,
and you made that comment. Yes. You made that comment. Olympic Golf Club does it again. But I tell you what, man. LPGA needed her to win because the Asians have dominated so much, and I think Americans have tuned it out a little bit because of that.
Right.
We needed kind of a woman U.S. golf star.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. I mean, I think everybody wanted Lexi to win. Yep. I think it is definitely something that would have been great for the game of golf from the American perspective. But looking at it, the Asians are usually the Koreans, right? And now we have a Filipino winner. And she was the first.
Oh, that's right. She was Filipino. That's right.
She was the first Filipinian to ever win.
That's right. Shout out Jeff LaRosa.
Shout out. Jeff. We're going to go to name drop today and just shout out everybody. So, but Jeff's got a nice little jumper on him too.
He can play a little ball.
He can play a little ball
He's
too.
Sneaky.
Yeah, he is sneaky. So, but it would have been great for the game, and it was terrible to see her come down. But going back to Jon Rahm at Muirfield, he was playing great golf. You got to figure he's still in form. You got to figure he's going to play well this week at Torrey Pines.
Sure,
it's the home where he got his first W.
Sure,
on the PGA Tour, so he's got some feel goods there. I think that he's going to be in contention. Obviously, he's going to be one of my featured internationals.
Okay.
But again, when you look at the thing, and especially as we get into our fantasy picks, and and everything that we do at the end of this show,
right?
He's going to be at the top half, and so you got to
that's more than top half.
He's the top quarter. I mean, he's a major player.
I'll have
right?
to look. He might be the top.
I think he is the odds-on favorite this week. That is what I saw going in. But I really just kind of want to speak to the fact of what Torrey Pines is to that community, and kind of how that golf course, built on an Army base back in 1957, has really kind of connected that community with all the local golf, all the stuff that they've hosted from the PGA Tour that has led into the Junior World Championships. This golf course is a major golf course, even though the first major was played in 2008 on it.
Right.
And it's exciting to see it come back. I mean, there was been a redesign before the 2008. Last year, there was a retweak. Tom Weiskopf, who we talked about, is a very underrated architect.
Yep.
Great player, underrated architect, but he is one of the best. Kind of came in and tweaked some, moved some bunkers around, put the greens in positions.
Now, does he do many redos, or is that kind of a...
Well, I think that's just kind of like, everybody does redos when they're in that industry now.
Okay.
So, but he's, being a former tour player and being, he kind of redid the North Course for sure, but, they brought him in again to make some tweaks to host this 2021 U.S. Open, and just Torrey Pines, if you've ever been out there, which I have not, but I've had a few people that I've friends and some colleagues that have been out there and played both golf courses say it is an incredible walk. It is one of the most picturesque golf courses. You get those guys jumping off the cliff with the little hang gliders going out there. You get just a straight drop down.
Sure.
I mean, and just so the views are incredible. And I think that, the familiarity, with all the players being familiar with this golf course.
Right, because it's a regular stop.
Right. You're going to see scores like they could go under par.
Oh, yeah.
Not your traditional U.S. Open just like beat it up because you'd never been to this golf course but for the one time in the practice round.
Right.
So.
My prediction is it's going to be around 10 under par to win. And normally that's kind of
that's deep.
For
that's
U.S.
deep,
Open.
It's deep. Yeah.
Yeah, for U.S. Open for sure.
But I would agree with you right there, Teague. I mean, just because these players know this golf course,
Right.
These players
They're going to set it up probably tougher than they've seen.
right.
It'll be a U.S. Open style course, but I think around 9, 10, if you get to double digits under par, I feel like you're going to be in good shape.
I do too. I mean, I think that's going to be right there. Let me go back on this. Do you know who owns and operates Torrey Pines?
No idea.
San Diego.
The
City Council. Yeah, how about that? You know what the resident rate is for 18 holes?
I don't know. There's a lot of homeless people in San Diego. I know
Oh,
that.
there's what better
The
place?
weather.
I would be. Well, we got 3 cities right there that we're going to choose: San Diego,
Right.
Miami, and I don't know, maybe New Orleans or something.
What an
like
awesome
that.
city.
But
though, man.
what all? I've never been. I would
It's
love to
incredible.
go.
I've done several trade shows there, and it's just, man, it's an awesome place.
$63 being a resident in San Diego.
Gets you on the course?
Get you on the golf course at Torrey Pines. $63. Now, I'm sure there's a couple wait lists. I don't think you can just walk up there and just, say, hey, I'm going to get it. Yeah, $44 if you're a senior.
Man, I paid $65 at Oxmoor the other day.
I know. There you go.
I
I
mean,
mean, you put
wow.
it in there. Yes, everywhere. Now, if you're out of town, and this is even more impressive, if you're out of town, I mean, it's like $202, $210. That's not bad.
No, not for that type of course.
For that type of golf course, that is not bad. So, the local racing, they have always been embraced by the community there. You've seen a lot of junior golf events playing there. I mean, i.e., who grew up on this golf course? Phil Mickelson, who grew up on this golf course. Xander Schauffele, who grew up playing this golf course. A guy named Charlie Hoffman. I mean, so the area around there, I mean, it's a golf hotbed. All the major companies are there in Carlsbad, which is right outside.
Sure.
It's a great home base for a lot of players because they can come and they can travel, especially a lot of the Australians kind of, camp out in there.
Right.
To be able to bounce back and forth. Just a fantastic venue this week.
Speaking of Phil, can he repeat?
Well,
not repeat, but back-to-back majors.
Well, we got to have, are we too early?
No. Well, I'm just saying. Hey, I don't know if that's fantasy talk. That's just golf talk.
That is golf talk. I mean, this is going to be the exciting thing. Phil Mickelson has 6 runner-ups in the United States Open. This is the only one.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
He's got the most.
He's never
runner-ups.
won a U.S. Open.
Never won a U.S. Open.
Has he won all? This
is the only major.
This would be the career slam for him.
This would be the career slam. He needs it. Like, I wanted him to win. Like, definitely everybody wanted him to win on Sunday and was pulling for him.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I would have gave him, if you would have said, hey, Josh, he can win this at Kiowa or he can win this at Torrey Pines, your pick, I'm going to give him Torrey Pines.
Oh, and I think he would too.
He actually contends. The interesting thing about Phil is in 2008, when he was playing, in the one that Tiger Woods won, the only one that Torrey Pines was here, he took his driver out of the bag.
Yeah.
He took his driver out of the bag. He played Torrey Pines with like his 3-wood and I was like, man, this is a course that you play every year on the tour, hitting driver.
Sure.
This is a course that you learn how to hit driver as a kid.
Right.
All you do is just pound a driver.
Right.
And and so I thought he made a bad tactical play.
Yeah.
At that particular one. Now what's he do? He hits bombs.
Oh, yeah.
He's all about the bombs.
He activates those calves.
He activates those calves. He gets his caffeine juice in, and he hits bombs. And I think he's going to be in contention. I really do. I think he's going to play well. Now, I don't think he wins this week.
Okay.
I really
do you think the
don't.
golf course sets up for him?
I do with the driver.
I mean, because obviously, like you said, he grew up there.
This golf course sets up for him.
Yeah.
But I think with everything that has happened, maybe, he gets into contention, and let's see what happens on the final day. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks back. The goal of every player is not to win a tournament on Thursday. The goal of every player is to put themselves in a position.
Be within striking distance on Sunday.
And play the back nine and, and hit quality shots.
Yeah.
And if you can hit quality shots coming down that back nine, you have a position to win. Kind of going, to Xander Schauffele. I mean, he's a huge pick this week. He's somebody that's going to be favored. Grew up there. He's been in, all over the leaderboards of majors.
Right.
He's had 4 U.S. Open starts. His highest place finish is 6. So this guy is, and he's coming in well. He played at Memorial. He's in the top 10.
He's primed to break out.
He's primed to break out.
He always plays good on the big stage.
And, with this being a home course for him, where he
that's
learned,
awesome.
he's going to be in contention, and he's going to look, and does this course set up good for him? I would argue, Teague, this course sets up good for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have 9 former U.S. Open champions in the field. We have, just the latest for the last 10 years. People that have won here that are in the field, there's 7 of the last 11 winners from the Farmers Insurance Open played in February or first, on that California swing are in the field.
Right.
Including Patrick Reed, who's playing great golf.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, won the 2021.
Yep.
So this golf course is going to set up well for a lot of players. Now, what's the difference between the Farmers and the U.S. Open? It's going to be the rough. And
they're going to set it up in pin placements.
Yeah, pin placements. Well, I don't know how much more the pin placements can change.
You think?
Yeah,
you think they kind of have their Sunday spots?
Yeah, they kind of have their best spots, and I mean, and I don't think there's going to be too much of a difference between what it would be on a Saturday Sunday.
I feel you.
Versus the Saturday Sunday of the U.S. Open, but really, it's the graduated rough. It's where, the redesign and tweaking these bunkers kind of in play.
Sure.
I heard Charlie Hoffman say on the Golf Channel this week, and he makes a really, really good point. You're going to be better served to miss it in the bunkers from the fairway. You want to drive it into the bunkers this week.
You don't want to hit in the rough around the greens.
You do not want to hit in the rough. And so, the players that are, obviously always contend well in the U.S. Open are the ones that can drive the tee ball.
Sure.
And strokes gain off the tee.
Sure.
But this week too, strokes gain into the green is going to be a huge stat. So you're going to be looking at a guy who's, somewhere in that top 20 right there is going to give himself a chance. As much as putting is important in the United States Open, I don't think it's going to be a big thing this week. I mean, because here's why. The Poa-annua greens over there.
Yeah.
They're bumpy for everybody.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's just luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and it's like watching Tiger's putt in 2008 kind of rolled down there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that thing took 15 jumps before it rode into the hole.
Right.
I mean, when you watch that slow-mo, it was incredible. So, this is going to be an interesting U.S. Open this week. I think it's going to be one that's going to be pretty much for the ages. I think it'll identify the best winner.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Phil as much as I would like for it to be Phil, and that would just be an incredible story and great for the game of golf.
It'd be unbelievable for the game of golf.
But I also don't think it's going to be our defending champion, Bryson Brooksy DeChambeau.
Yeah.
Brooksy.
All right, so that's another topic we haven't.
Well, we
got
to talk about. So let's talk about that.
I mean, so
the most famous golf feud since
Happy
Gilmore and Shooter McGavin.
Man, it's pretty. Look, I think Koepka admitted it a hair. I think it's a bit for show, but the fact that people are heckling DeChambeau,
right,
and then Koepka gets on Twitter and sends them a case of beer.
Nick Ultras. I mean, he pulled the Roger Maltby.
What an awesome! I mean, good grief.
I know. I would have never thought that Brooks Koepka was Shooter McGavin.
Right?
I mean, he's turned it into Shooter McGavin.
Oh man!
I mean,
hilarious.
if Brooks makes a putt and turns around and gives us the
yep.
How good would that be? Shooter McGavin.
And then he needs Zalatoris to caddy for him, and then we're in good shape.
Well, Zalatoris will play well this week. There's a guy.
Might.
He played well at the Farmers.
He might.
He had an invitation into the Farmers this year. Played well there. Actually had a top 10. Again,
Dude,
this guy is the top 10
Dude is
machine.
a baller.
He is a baller.
He weighs 100 pounds, maybe.
He is
but
100 pounds of golf baller. I mean, that dude is the
he
man.
can play, man.
But that feud hasn't been good for the game, Teague. I mean, from afar.
Yes.
I think so too. I mean, it just kind of brings it in. Now,
yes.
is it
now
good
Joey
for,
hates it.
No,
Joey keeps talking about how classless and everything it is, but I think it's great for
Well,
golf.
it goes back to the etiquette thing that we discussed after the PGA Championship.
Right.
Where is that line? I mean, and so is it good for the game on Twitter? Yeah. Is it good for the game out there from the people that are walking the ropes with them? No, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, let this guy do his work. And to me, I think it is. You're always going to have those things. I mean, that's what a sporting event is. It's heckling. And
Sure.
there's
a lot of that
There
involved.
is a lot of that, and and golf has always been one to where, you haven't had that.
Right.
But golf changed significantly with a movie called Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
And it is
it really did.
It's the greatest movie that has ever been. It's not the number one golf movie.
No.
Right. Caddyshack is, period. I
Right.
mean, we can have a whole
No,
but it is done more for the game of golf than any
It
other
really
movie.
has.
It brings people into the game. It still is, like, kids love it.
Oh yeah.
All the kids want to do Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
There's all the kids like to heckle each other when they're out
That's
there.
a good
and so
point.
there's some good in it.
Go to your
but-
home, ball. Don't
but
you like your home?
Yeah, I mean, but if Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau turn into Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore out there after 9 holes, oh my gosh! I mean,
Are you paying $50 for a pay-per-view to watch those two in a boxing match?
No, I would never. Only time I ever paid for a boxing match was for Mike Tyson, bro.
Oh man, I love those Mike Tyson.
Did you watch that special?
Oh.
Was on. I mean, we got to talk about.
I love some Mike
Did you
Tyson.
watch the special? It was on ABC when he had Mike Tyson. I mean, it was like a documentary.
No.
It's incredible. It's just on right before Memorial.
Oh, I gotta watch it. No, I love me some Mike Tyson.
His whole journey from out of Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
Out of Brownsville,
Streets.
Brooklyn, the
Uh-huh.
streets that came up, and then go to when he was training in
Yeah.
upstate New York.
Yeah.
To just his rise.
I gotta
to,
watch that.
It was incredible.
I gotta
truly
watch
incredible. It was just like The Last Dance. It was very similar, except for The Last Dance had 10 episodes because there was COVID. This one was just 2, but it was an incredible watch. But yeah, no, I would not pay for that, nor would I pay for Rand Paul and whoever he fought.
That's hilarious.
Mayweather, wasn't it, or something like that?
Well, no, it wasn't Rand Paul. It was Jake Paul.
Rand
Rand Paul would have been an interesting.
Rand Paul was fighting his neighbor down
That's
there
right.
when he was cutting grass.
He was
I mean,
fighting his
that
neighbor.
guy.
I don't. It was Jake Paul or
Whatever, man. No, but I do think it is good for the game. I think it is brought.
I do too.
It's always got some attention. I mean, and realistically, it's a social media war. And I mean, for that guy to come out and say, "Hey, I'm going to send you some Mick Ultras."
They got to pair those two up at some point.
Well, I hope they never pair them up. I hope they play their way in together in the final
Would that be
night.
awesome?
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I
want to
agree.
see.
I agree.
want to see now, and it would be awesome because Brooks Koepka. The whole riff started with him playing behind Bryson DeChambeau.
And he was slow.
And he was slow, which Bryson has definitely picked up his pace.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you Bryson would put on the snail's pace because
Yeah.
he don't care.
He doesn't care.
And it would be just
And
interesting.
Kepka's got zero filter.
Yeah, and
so
Kepka's going to be marching out in front of him
Yeah.
because he don't care.
He don't
right?
care either.
And so it would be just a great dynamic to see continuing down the stretch. And again, it would be awesome if it's this week in the U.S. Open or the British Open or one of the majors. But I would take it at like something like Jack's Place or somewhere like on a great golf course.
Yeah.
I mean, not
Yeah,
necessarily, not necessarily for the John Deere Open.
Right.
But it probably would be
I
better played
can't-
out at
I
the John
can't
Deere
wait.
Open.
Speaking of boxing match, did you hear about the Corn Ferry Tour qualifier?
No.
So, story goes that there's a threesome plan. One dude hits his ball left. Nobody goes and helps him look for it. Loses his ball left. Well, he gets to the green and he confronts the guys and says, "Hey, nobody helped me look." And then one of the dads who was caddying said, "Hey, we're not here to look for golf balls. Hit the ball straight. We're here to qualify." And then the guy's son that said that went over and punched the dude. And then the other guys were trying to break it up, but the dad breaks out the putter and starts swinging at the other guys trying to break it up, saying, "This ain't your fight." And so the dude,
Have you seen this?
No, it's all over. It's
I
all
have
over.
not seen
It's
this.
all over social media. And so the dude pummels the guy on the green, and the other guys are they're mortified. The pro shop comes out, they arrest the guy.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Corn Ferry Tour. Now Corn Ferry
Just
Tour
recently?
guys. Yeah.
This is in Kansas because they're playing in Kansas.
Well, it was a Monday qualifier.
So this may have been a week ago, or
I think it was a week ago.
Okay. Well, no, I
Isn't that
have
wild?
not seen
That story's out there.
But I mean, there again, it goes to what we're talking about with Brooks and
Well,
and Bryson,
that's what I'm getting
and
at.
what we're going to with the guys who are hot tempered,
Yeah.
over there breaking tee markers
Yeah.
and the etiquette. I mean, the game and the sport is changing because everybody else is changing, and I mean, and this is what is somewhat, and I hate to use the word accept it, but it is somewhat where we're at in American sports.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been notorious in other games forever. I mean, think about Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, they booed Santa Claus in football. I
Right.
mean, and so they're and throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, and I mean, but in my opinion, when you step across the line like that, and especially in our game, you forget what it's all about.
Sure.
And this game is about cheering your opponent on.
Sure.
This game is about respecting.
Playing the golf course.
Yeah, respecting everybody and
Right.
saying yes sir, yes ma'am.
Yeah.
No sir, no ma'am.
It's a gentleman's game.
This is a gentleman's game, and so what I would like to see is I would like to see these two dudes, and I'm speaking of Brooks and Bryson, shake hands at some point in time and just play on.
Yeah.
But in between on if they want to call each other out, I mean, like Bryson's response was, when Brooks called him out and got into his face, Bryson said, "All right, I'm gonna go get in the gym and swell up, and I'm gonna hit the further than you."
Yeah. So let's see
And
what happens.
and what he say this week, they interviewed him, was like, "Hey, I'm here to hit bombs.
Right.
I'm here to drive this ball as far as I can this week at Torrey Pines."
Yeah.
Hate hearing that about the Korn Ferry Tour. Definitely going to look it up. And I got to give a shout out to my big man, Jarrett Wolf, Louisville's native. He is defending champion this week at the Kansas Open on the Korn Ferry Tour. One of his first wins on the professional wins on the Korn Ferry Tour. So to see him defending champion, he posted a pic on his IG.
Yeah.
And they had a big little thing. It had his picture. And
Now
him
he's
and
got his
caddy.
card now, right?
He is.
His PGA Tour card?
After this season, he ought to be
Right,
able to
because
secure
he's in
that.
the top 10.
He's in the top 20 or
whatever
top
it
10. I
is.
think he won twice. If he gets one more win,
It's automatically
there. And so hopefully he can get that here soon. I know he's been working really hard with Corey. And,
it was interesting. Corey, I had a conversation with Corey about Jared's game, and he said, man, he's built more for the PGA Tour than he is the Korn Ferry Tour. And to me, that hit me kind of funny. I was like, how does that even make sense? And then he started describing how the Korn Ferry Tour plays a little bit less in yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Now the PGA Tour is a little bit longer, and that where Jared really excels with his long irons. So he hits a 5-iron 230 or something, where it was a little bit longer than a lot of these guys. And he seems to think that his game's going to translate better on the PGA Tour.
Well, I think when he gets out there, it will. I mean, and he's served the course, and I mean, and he's done his diligence to work his way up from the ranks of playing on the Latin American Tour to
man, he's been a journeyman.
Right.
He deserves it.
He's worked hard at it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's his craft, and that's what he does.
Sure.
And it's pretty cool to see. I mean, and it's kind of like what Corey's. His craft and what he does, and and his depth and knowledge and
Corey's been a big part of Jared's success.
Oh, over the last 2 years, there's no question that Corey has been very involved in.
And so who you don't know, we're talking Corey Kaufman, who's Josh's partner at the Golf Academy.
My life partner.
So and Corey's an incredible coach.
Corey is.
Corey teaches a lot of not only the top end players, kind of the professionals around town, but a lot of the top end juniors as well.
Well, yeah, he does, and I mean, and that's what we do over there. And I mean, and he works with a lot of the collegiate players, and I mean, and it's great to see him, having that success. But more importantly, let's get Jarrett Wolf defending this championship and get that Battlefield promotion this week.
I can't wait to watch.
That would be the type of Battlefield promotion I would like to see on the Korn Ferry Tour, not those 3 dudes qualifying on the Monday qualifier.
Right.
But I will look that up.
You need to look at it. It's good stuff.
Let's spend these last few minutes before we get into our fantasy picks this week.
Okay.
Just talking about the GOATs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the two. Let's talk about some of the greatest United States Open champions ever. Who do you think of when you say the U.S. Open?
Well, for me, the first name is obviously Tiger, because I think Tiger is he changed the game of golf in a lot of positive ways. And when you say the word GOAT, I immediately go to Tiger Woods.
Yeah, and why do you go to Tiger Woods? Is it because outside of he has 15 majors, he is the greatest player of our lifetime. There is no doubt, right? He is of our lifetime, even though Jack Nicklaus is still alive.
Yeah.
You and I watched Tiger Woods. We did not watch Jack Nicklaus. I was fortunate to watch Nicklaus in 86.
Correct.
But I was still just a young little whippersnapper.
Yep.
And so, of our lifetime, it is Tiger Woods. What defines his greatness for you?
Obviously, opening the game up, obviously being a player of color, which is he really made the game more accessible to a lot of people.
I agree. That's
and
fantastic.
He made it more exciting. Wearing the red shirt every Sunday, and just it seemed to me that when he was on a leaderboard, guys got scared.
Oh yeah.
and then they just would fall off.
Right.
And he would just kind of go all the way up to the top because he was near.
Yeah.
It just, man.
And they said that happened with Nicholas, but I don't think it ever happened much as like Tiger did it. Tiger definitely was the man right there. And, and I would say this. I mean, his U.S.
He's got 3 U.S. Opens?
3 U.S. Opens.
Okay.
Jack has 4.
Okay.
He's got 15 majors. Jack has 18.
Yeah.
He's got, when you look at it, the presence of, his amateur career is very similar to how Jack did it. Yep. But really what separates him and reason why I would say he's one of the greatest of all time are just the shots that he's hit. The ones that you remember. I mean, the fairway shot, winning the fairway bunker shot, winning the Canadian Open, 6 iron, 215 yards. Yeah. When he was at the U.S. Open in 2008, that putt. What about the chip that he won when he was at the Masters on the back of number 16 that went up the hill, came down? His steady play at St. George where the British Open is going to be played at in a couple months or in a month, to where he didn't miss a fairway. He drove everything right down the middle of the line. So, just all the shots that
I was standing on 16 green at Valhalla when he did the chase in.
Putt on 16. When
he chased it in with his
right.
I mean, I was standing right there, and to me, that was the most incredible thing that I'd ever seen in golf. I mean, that was an unbelievable. Actually, it was kind of funny. A friend of mine and I, we had ran the check tent. So when you bought something from the merchandise tent, then we were in charge of actually checking and like hanging on to your merchandise until you came back after the tournament. And so we had a golf cart.
Right.
And I actually ran over Earl Wood's foot on accident going down. I was 17 years old, and I was going down Valhalla in this golf cart trying to get over to 16 green. It ran over his dad's foot, and he was screaming and yelling at us. But honestly, that was one of the coolest things ever.
Without a doubt. I mean, his shots, and so that's what you remember in his greatness. Now, again, we didn't really get to see Jack.
Yeah.
And Jack had that same aura about him. I mean, and he would be able to play shots that nobody else could.
Sure.
But Jack also, what in my opinion, the reason why Jack is the GOAT is not necessarily the 18 majors, the 3 more majors that he has at Tiger. It's the others. He was runner-up 19 times, Teague.
That's crazy.
19 times he was runner-up.
That's crazy.
Tiger's only been runner-up 7 times.
Yeah.
He was in the top 10. I mean, this number is remarkable right here. So what is that? That's 40, 58, 60. He was 73 times. 73 times he's in the top 10 in major championships. That is nuts. I mean, and so, obviously the longevity and Tiger's, career has definitely been cut short over the last 6 years. So that would have given him 24 more starts in there. Yeah. A
lot of that was self-inflicted.
Well, it was definitely self-inflicted. I mean, but, to the point, in my lifetime,
yeah,
this guy, right?
It's got to be.
I mean, it's got to be. I mean, in my lifetime,
for what he's done for the game of golf,
right? And I would even say that. I mean, I would say Jack, has done a lot for the game of golf. He has done obviously, his golf architecture, what we talked about.
Sure.
His career record spanning it.
Sure.
But nobody moved the needle like Tiger Woods.
Oh man.
With the color, being the first African American to win a major. And not just win. He dominated.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, so the racial backgrounds that he's been able to break, all the stereotypes of what golf is. I mean, an elitist sport because where'd he grow up?
Right.
He grew up at a little muni just outside of Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
I mean, and so he is what golf symbols now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that he is definitely the GOAT.
So look, I
definitely. I mean, he's my man.
We were both in the golf business kind of as he was coming up, and he changed golf as far as who was coming into play on a daily basis.
For sure.
I mean, people started showing up to the golf course that you normally hadn't. It was kind of a stodgy look. When you went to a country club, you went there to get away from your family. You went there to get away from your kids, away from your wife, and it was kind of like the little club where you go smoke your cigars and men
bourbon.
only.
Right.
I tell you what, Tiger changed a lot of that.
Oh yeah, he did.
I mean, the whole thing changed. Now, if you're a member at a country club, you better have some family activities, everything else, because it's more of a family atmosphere.
Right.
And I really think Tiger had a big.
Well, I can just tell you,
that.
in 1996 when he won the Masters, I was fortunate enough to be getting in golf at that time, and I ran the junior golf program at Charlie Vettner.
Right.
Here one of the Louisville Metro Park places under Carl Owens' supervision, and we had 300 kids after he won.
Right.
He won the Masters in April, and in May we had 300 kids in our junior golf program.
That's crazy.
And it really started my career.
Yeah.
So in a roundabout way, I thank Tiger Woods for just like
doubt.
all these players are thanking Tiger Woods for the multi-million dollars that they
the
have.
money that they have now because of him.
Because of him. I mean, he moved the needle. He grew the game. He
Sure.
did everything. He created Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Tiger Woods, there probably would have been no Chubbs Peterson, right?
Okay.
Chubbs Peterson is the greatest golf coach to ever coach because he coached Happy Gilmore.
Right.
So, I mean, in a roundabout way.
Yeah, no, I'm with
Tiger
you, man.
Woods.
All right.
Tiger Woods brought in the legacy of Happy Gilmore and everything that we see today. And I hope and
he made it mainstream.
Yeah, and I hope and pray that he has the ability to just enjoy life, not even play golf.
You think he'll play golf again?
I would love to be able to see him tee it up again. Here's the bad thing. If he does, he'll probably never have a chance to win. He was going to win again. He was on track.
He
was on track to take Jack's record.
He was on track. He was going to get it.
With that Masters resurrection of his game, he was coming back to get that done. And so, let's just all hope that he looks at this week and sees everything that he's done for the game, everything that he's meant, and it just kind of inspires him to say, hey, I'm going to, even if he's not around, that he's going to be around on TV, hosting events, doing things for the game of golf, which we know he will, but just even more out in front and center. And his change over the last 3 years, Teague, leading up to it,
sure,
his media persona, his ability to be kind of approached,
right,
changed significantly, and it's been so good for the game.
Did you watch the HBO Max deal on him?
I have not.
Oh gosh.
No, see there, I need to do that one. So
my takeaway was I felt sorry for him.
There are a lot of people I've heard that, and I haven't watched. I mean,
what his dad did to him. I can't now look. Earl Woods created him, obviously,
right?
But a lot of people were like, "Man, that would have sucked."
Yeah, right.
Well, so you need to watch it.
Yeah, I'll definitely get that. But in going to the GOAT, we got to say, Jack's still the GOAT. 18 record, 18 majors.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, you can't. 19 runner-ups. I mean, just the ability to be on the board. Tiger was either there or he wasn't.
Sure.
And it's not to say that he wasn't. I mean, because he had. I mean, there's 24, 30, 33. I mean, he had 41 top 10s out. So I mean,
sure.
he was always there. But to me, it was just the shots. I mean, just so many different shots that he hit with a driver, chip, putt, 6-iron. I mean, that's what made him the best. And I'm hoping and praying that he has a quick recovery and he enjoys this week because his moment in 2008 was incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, and just to be able to win a U.S. Open on a broken leg,
right,
walking,
right,
not just 72 holes.
Yeah.
He did it for 90 holes.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he had to go an extra 18 the next day, and it was insane. So let's get to this week, Teague.
Right. Yep.
And since Joey's not here, this is our fantasy time.
Yep.
Right now, this is sponsored by Talgrace Marketing and Media.
Yep.
But we are looking for
sponsors.
That. We're going to be getting into the sponsor game. So if anybody is listening and they are interested in sponsoring our fantasy recap or their last segment of Loopers for Life,
let's go.
Holler at Teague and I. We'll
make it worth your while.
But let's talk about this week, Teague. I mean, from the block.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
All right. So I think here's my two favorites. I'm gonna throw DeChambeau out. I'm gonna throw Koepka out. I have been taking Justin Thomas a lot, but I'm throwing him out. I'm gonna take Dustin Johnson as your winner.
That's a good pick.
I think when Dustin Johnson gets overlooked and he's not the one that's being talked about, that's when Dustin Johnson becomes scary.
Right.
And I think that nobody's talking about him. They're talking about Rahm. They're talking about DeChambeau. They're talking about these other guys. I think Dustin Johnson's going to be tough this week.
Well, I mean, Dustin has an impeccable record in the U.S. Open.
He does.
I mean, he has. I think I got him down here to where he has, 5 5 top 10s.
Yeah.
He
2016 he won. 2015 he was runner-up.
Runner-up. 2018 he was third.
Yep.
So he's all over this leaderboard, and I think and he's been out of form, but he did play last week in his home state of South Carolina at the Congaree Golf Club, which not really a good test because there was a lot of sand and kind of open play. It's not going to be played out of the rough, but he has played well here at Torrey Pines and been in contention. He plays well on the West Coast. Kind of home bases out of the West Coast.
Right.
So you got to figure that, he's going to be in contention. I like that. Give me a sleeper pick. Who you
right.
got deep?
So with my let me give you my other top end. That's going to be Justin Rose, which is your boy. So I think Justin Rose is going to be right there.
Past champion here on the Farmers 2019. Again, a guy who's always on the leaderboard here at Torrey Pines.
All right, here's my 2 sleeper picks. There's one name you never heard of. His name is Cameron Young. He is a Korn Ferry Tour player, but he was the low qualifier for the U.S. Open by 6 shots in Ohio, where all the tour players played. And what I liked about it is when they made a comment to him, they said, were you nervous? Did you feel like you were going to qualify? And he was like, well, yeah, I felt like I was going to qualify. I was the best player out here. And he was doing it with a bunch of tour players out there. So the guy's got a ton of confidence. His game's in great form. His name's Cameron Young. I think you'll get him for the cheapest price in there. I think he makes a ton of sense. And the other kid that I think played really well last year, here's another sleeper pick, Chan Kim.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I like that. And Chan Kim, I mean, he's been playing really solid golf.
Yep.
I mean, he's been right around in the top 20 a few times.
Yep.
And those are pulling deep sleepers out.
And what we're going to do, not this week because I didn't have time, but once we have some time to get him on, my cousin Jordan's going to call in. I had him lined up for last week. Jordan has made about $150,000 in fantasy golf.
It's a good spot for him right here.
Well, Jordan's unbelievable, and so the week I had him calling in, he made another $8,000.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to give us some names.
Well, I like that. I mean, we all need it. So I mean, in looking at the top half and for this week, I mean, it's going to be hard not to pick Xander Schauffele. I mean, and again,
I like that pick because he's always there.
He's there.
Man.
This is his home course.
Yeah, he's always
there. He hasn't gotten a W.
Yep.
There's even a great commercial with the Callaway to where him and John Rahm are actually hitting balls, and it looks like it is at Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
And at least John Rahm turns around and says, "Hey, I got a dub, but you don't."
Yeah.
I think and he's played himself back into form. I mean, he didn't really leave the form. He didn't play well at Kiawah in the PGA Championship, but he is right there at the top of the leaderboard. And in that top half this week, and I would have to say this too, I do feel like you're right. Justin Thomas is kind of one that you want to. He's kind of almost slide out this week.
Yep. Always want to take Justin.
I mean, he's our favorite, and let's hope he's in contention on Sunday and going down.
I'll be rooting hard.
He does have the 18-hole scoring record in the U.S. Open when he was at Erin Hills, and he shot 63 9 under par that day. But right now he's just kind of sporadic with his putter, and with these Pioneer greens, that could help him maybe.
Yeah.
But I say it's probably going to kind of hurt him because
he'll figure that out though.
He'll figure that out. I'm going to give you a guy that I think that will play well here and has been in good form. And, I'm going to start with an international. I always said I was going to start with a Euro first.
Right.
You took my Justin Rose pick.
I
didn't pick Justin Rose, but I'm picking Justin Rose.
For sure.
But on an international field, Mark Leishman. Watch out for him.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to be in the middle of the pack. He has won on this golf course in 2020, so he won last year.
Yep.
And he's just one of those guys. Again, I believe he's an Australian.
Yeah.
And this is a home base for a lot of the guys out of Australia. Jason Day. Jason Day. I don't think he plays. He's been going off and on. He withdrew from the Memorial.
Right.
But I'm just going to give you my 2 Aussies that I like, and I mean. You got to go with a guy in major. It's like, here's the thing with Kim Teague. It's great that you can pick a super like that, but is this his week to step up and win a major championship?
Well, look, when you start picking your sleepers, if you can get a top 20 out of them,
right,
that's crazy.
What you're looking for.
That's what you're looking for.
I think you're going to be able to get Jason Day for good money because he hasn't been in great form, but he just had a birth of another child, withdrew from the Memorial. He is a 2-time winner here on this golf course, so he plays this. And, again, home base for Australians. On the international side, obviously Jon Rahm's going to be a big pick. I'm going to kind of let him slide right now.
Yep.
I am going to say a resurrection, and you will see this guy play well this week, Sergio Garcia.
Oh,
I
all
think
right.
he will have a good week.
God, I'd love to see Sergio play well.
You know what? I got mixed emotions on Sergio. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. That may just because, of some of the etiquette issues that he's had in the past.
Let me tell you, I played
But
college
I respect
golf.
that guy's game, and he's a U.S. Open guy.
I played college golf with Sergio Garcia's best friend from Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and he had nothing but amazing things to say about Sergio.
Oh.
How great of a person he was.
Yeah.
And,
I would see him playing well this week.
Yeah, I think so, too.
It's just like he's got that lag in his golf swing there. He's going to be able to hack it out of the rough. He is a good all-around driver of the golf ball. So I think that, and he's been playing pretty well. I mean, and so I see him playing well this week from the international side. And then also just watching him practice yesterday, because it was on my other kind of down in the middle pick is just waiting for him to break out, Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, this is a U.S.
Talk
Open
about
golf
a guy
course.
can flat out play.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stripe the ball. That guy can stripe the ball. So, again, I'm looking for the guys that are going to be in the fairway and the guys that are going to be hitting on the green. But with that being said, the winner this week, you
Let's
ready
hear
for
it.
this?
Let's hear it.
You ready for this?
All right, you're dropping it now.
Bubba Watson.
Oh, God.
Bubba Watson, former champion, 2011. Why Bubba Watson?
I can't get with that.
I don't know why, but I'm going to say I think that he plays really well here this week.
Josh, that was a Joey pick.
That was out of deep blue. That is probably about as
That's a
much
Joey
as
pick.
I've ever went off the
Are we
edge
even sure
right
Watson's
there.
playing?
Yeah, he's playing. Yeah, he's
We-
a 2011
the
champ.
field?
I wanted to say Phil Mickelson, but I already said that.
Man,
Phil.
Phil can play. But
You know
I'd
when Phil
love to
won?
see Phil do it.
Here's an amazing stat. You know when Phil won on this golf course for the first time? 1993.
Oh wow,
1993. He won
well,
in
that dates him a little
1993.
bit. But
2000.
is he 50?
He's 51.
Oh god,
The oldest winner of the U.S. Open is Hale Irwin at 45 years of
Yeah.
age. Won in 1990 at Medina.
okay.
We've had 3 champions that have had 4 U.S. Opens.
I know
So
Tom Watson was around.
Tom
He
Watson
almost
won a couple.
something.
Yeah, well, he almost won the British Open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was at 53.
Right.
But I think Bubba's been quietly playing well this week.
Okay.
Or this season.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And again, being a guy that can hack it out of the rough and play creative. Now he doesn't drive the ball straight, so that kind of puts him at. But he's a very creative
You
guy.
said the word hack. That
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
I mean, that was an out of the way pick on me. But
All right.
I mean, hey, that's
Hey, this
what
is
I
a good
am.
one, Josh.
So, let's roll it out.
Let's roll it out.
Yes,
this is a good
sir.
one. All right, U.S. Open week. Bubba Watson, man, I don't know.
Brooksy.
Hey, get you some Michelob Ultra. Is it what was it? What's he
was
giving?
Mick Ultra.
Mick Ultra.
Hey, stay classy, San Diego.
Oh, there you go.
Let's go.